Central Popular Science Film Studios. "7 months over the planet." Anatoly Berezovoy and Valentin Lebedev, on the eve of the longest expedition in the history of cosmonautics, pledged that in any circumstances they would be collected and would maintain even good relations. But they did not yet know what great difficulties were in store for them. The new orbital station, Salyut 7, was awaiting its first dwellers. Throughout the entire flight, Valentin Lebedev, the flight engineer, kept a diary. On the day of the docking up, he wrote, "Try to open the hatch of the ship, but it does not even budge. Pressing down with both legs, I tore it off. When I entered the station, I was amazed by its dimensions. Even during the first days of the flight, Anatoly and Valentin had to perform complicated jobs. Some flaws came up in the Delta system of autonomous navigation. In certain situations, the station only obeyed manual controls. Before takeoff, the flight supervisors emphasized, "Your prime task is to restore the proper functioning of Delta." For several days, the cosmonauts and specialists at flight control were busy with the automatic navigation system. Such work was performed in outer space for the first time. Now the station was controlled from the Delta computer system. Valentin Lebedev's diary that day had the following entry. "That was probably our first joyful day in orbit." They had to carry out more than 300 experiments for scores of research and industrial enterprises of the country. Entries from the diary. An acute period of adaptation has begun. Sometimes headaches and nausea. Medics have one word for such a state: discomfort. On such days, you have to be careful in moving about, without any jerky movements. We went through this period quite easily. Berezovoy and Lebedev began performing the vast scientific program of the flight. Nevertheless, in the first month, their main attention was devoted to preparations for receiving the Soviet-French crew. That flight became the logical continuation of the many years of cooperation between the two countries in exploring outer space. A government delegation from France arrived at Baikonur. The French ambassador in the USSR, Monsieur Arnaud, and the chairman of the Intercosmos Council, Academician Kotelnikov, underscored the great significance of the flight. I would like to express to you, all three of you, the most sincere and hearty wishes from the French government and people.
самые искренние и горячие
du gouvernement et du peuple français
французского правительства и народа
qui vous souhaitent
They wish you fruitful work, a comfortable stay in outer space, and a soft landing.
confortable que possible,
комфортабельного пребывания в космосе
un atterrissage en douceur.
и мягкой посадки.
Спасибо большое. Мы сделаем все, что можно.
Ваш полет помимо научного значения
Besides scientific importance, your flight also has a deep symbolic significance. It shows the cooperation of our peoples.
показывает о сотрудничестве наших
La
народов.
coopération entre nos peuples.
А это в нашем мире
And in our complicated world, this is very important. Jean-Luc Chrétien, Vladimir Zhanibekov, and Alexander Ivanchenkov will go up into space. Only the music of Johann Sebastian Bach can convey the feelings of a man departing into outer space, said Chrétien before blastoff. For 8 days, the cosmonauts carried out a vast scientific program compiled by the scientists of France and the Soviet Union. Many experiments were staged for the first time in outer space. Valentin Lebedev wrote in his diary, "We sleep 3 or 4 hours a day. Jean, like Carlson, keeps flying over us. There is very much work. The experiments are complicated. Jean is amazed how we work in the dark. 5 men, all at the control instruments, lights flashing on at the control panels, flashes from the engines outside the portholes, dull noises of their operation can be heard. In general, it's fantastic." During the joint flight, Jean said, "I am astounded by the high professional skills of the Soviet cosmonauts and how they selflessly performed the French program." After the flight of the Soviet-French crew, the scientists obtained unique scientific results. The time of the joint work by the two crews went by swiftly. "We're off to see the boys through the hatch," we read in the diary. And here our hearts began to ache. Tears appeared in the eyes of Vladimir and Jean. The international crew received a warm welcome in Kazakhstan. From that moment, their flight became history. But for Valentin Lebedev and Anatoly Berezovoy, this was only a stage of their work in outer space. They were still a long way from the halfway mark of their expedition. Routine days in outer space. They are quite different and not very easy. Sprouts have appeared in our garden. Peas emerge from the soil strong but slow, with thick stalks and leaves, while onions immediately shoot upwards like a green ray of light. It's delightful to pass the palm of your hand over the shoots. Our garden is part of Earth from which we are so far away. It's already the end of summer, which they have spent beyond the Earth. Baikonur is preparing a new space crew for a flight. Leonid Popov, Alexander Serebrov, and the second woman cosmonaut in history, Svetlana Savitskaya. Svetlana Savitskaya is a world record holder in parachute jumping and aerobatics. She's a famous Soviet pilot. Her next step is into outer space. Berezovoy and Lebedev have a new problem to cope with. Flowers are needed. After all, the first woman on board the station. This is a surprise not only for Svetlana, but first of all for biologists. For the first time in outer space, they managed to grow flowers from the seeds of Arabidopsis, completing a full cycle of growing a plant from seed to seed. This is a major victory for cosmic biology. So the beginning of the joint work of the crew was a double holiday. The mood on board is excellent, Lebedev wrote in his diary. Svetlana quickly adapted herself on the station. In the evening, we began the Tavria experiment. We were to obtain pure fractions of active biological preparations by the electrophoresis method. Svetlana is doing the magic with Tavria. How many patients on Earth are waiting for the results of that experiment? Only in conditions of weightlessness is it possible to produce such preparation in pure form. The cosmonauts also became pharmacologists. With their help, many human lives will be saved. For 8 days, a crew of 5 Soviet cosmonauts performed comprehensive work on board the station. The flight was a complicated one. Anatoly Berezovoy and Valentin Lebedev spent a long period outside the station in raw space, more than 2 hours. Special containers with different construction material were installed on Salyut 7. They were tested in raw space for several months and were now being dispatched to Earth to be studied. Space vehicles of the future require new materials. Our space house looks very beautiful from here, wrote Lebedev. Everything seems to be at a standstill. The station, the ship. There is no feeling of flying, although we're moving at 8 kilometers a second. Silence over the planet which lies below us. Amazing, indescribable feelings. The days go by swiftly, but there is still much work to be done. A bit about our daily life. We wash with moist napkins. This is a daily ritual. But sometimes we have a real holiday. The most unforgettable, of course, is a bath in outer space. This is not their first bath day in orbit. Once again, back to work. One experiment follows another. We are preparing the launching of a man-made satellite of the Earth. From the station, this is done quite easily, sluicing through a lock gate and then launching. That is how the Iskra Sputnik came into being. The first Sputnik was the achievement of the whole of mankind. The Iskra Sputnik was the achievement of Soviet youth. That is how the Salyut became a launching pad for Sputniks. One of the last entries in the diary, we've been in flight for a long time. Now we have to devote more attention to medicine and training workouts. In general, it's exhausting work, but necessary. Our meeting with the Earth's gravitational pull lies ahead. Once again, biological experiments. During the flight, we managed to receive from Earth 2 sets of initial materials for Tavia. Young and embryonal cells of bone marrow have now been isolated. Preparations with such purity have never been produced on Earth. The cosmic vigil of Anatoly Berezovoy and Valentin Lebedev lasted for 7 months. They returned at night. A snowstorm developed over the steppe lands of Kazakhstan. That was a difficult landing, just like the entire flight. Practically 600 experiments were performed during the flight, and twice as many programs. They spent 2 weeks at Baikonur, getting accustomed to the Earth's gravity, and once again learned how to walk on land. Lebedev and Berezovoy ushered in the new year at home with their wives and children. However, the flight is still not over for them. They had to live through it once again from blast off to landing when they prepared their scientific report of the expedition. In the main, this was the job of Valentin Lebedev. Anatoly Berezovoy was included in the Soviet Indian crew. Such is the profession of a cosmonaut. Return from a prolonged expedition, a short rest, and once again, preparations for a new flight. Script, Vladimir Gubarev, consultant, USSR pilot cosmonaut, twice hero of the Soviet Union, Valentin Lebedev. Direction, Dmitry Antonov.